Hello, I'm Matt Keel, and I'm so excited to welcome you and your student to Network Administration 1. I wanted to give you a quick peek behind the curtain because this class, well, it's so much more than just a computer class. It's really a journey into the very heart of our digital world, where your student will learn the powerful skills needed to not just use technology, but to actually build and protect it. So, have you ever stopped to wonder, how does it all work? I mean, every time you send an email, stream a movie, or do a little online shopping, it all just magically happens, right? But behind the scenes, there's this huge, invisible infrastructure making it all possible. This course is all about answering that big question: how does our digital world actually connect? And maybe even more importantly, how do we keep it safe? Really, the whole year comes down to these three powerful ideas. Your student is going to learn how to build it, manage it, and protect it. We're talking about physically building a network from scratch, managing all the complex stuff that makes it work, and then defending it from the threats that are out there. It's going to be a really hands-on experience. So let's take a look at what that journey is going to look like. All right, so first up, welcome to Network Administration. We're going to start with the big picture, looking at the opportunity in our connected world. Because let's be real, in today's world, these skills, they weren't just nice-to-have technical skills anymore. They're absolutely foundational. I mean, think about it. Every single industry, whether it's healthcare, finance, even entertainment, it all runs on the very networks your student is about to master. So what is network administration anyway? At its core, this course is all about giving students a really solid foundation in how our digital world actually works. The goal here is for them to move beyond just using technology. We want them to understand the how and the why behind it all. That's what prepares them to be the real creators and problem solvers of the future. Okay, next up, we're building the digital foundation. We're going from cables to connections. Just like building a house, you have to start with a strong foundation. And in the world of networking, that foundation is physical. It's the actual, tangible hardware. This is where their journey really begins, getting their hands on the stuff that makes the internet possible. That's right, your student is going to start with the fundamentals. They'll be getting their hands dirty, so to speak, with the physical hardware, the real building blocks of the internet. We're talking copper cables, fiber optic cables, the same kind of stuff that stretches across oceans to connect continents. They'll learn how to physically work with it, and just as important, they'll learn the rules of the road for how data actually flows through it all. One of the first big ideas we'll tackle is something called network topology. The best way to think about it is like an architectural blueprint for the network, right? You can't just start plugging things in randomly. You need a plan. And that's what students will learn: how to design these digital blueprints to make sure a network is efficient and, of course, reliable. And what's cool is there's not just one way to do it. For example, a super simple point-to-point connection is just a direct link between two devices. Then you've got something like a star network, where everything connects to a central hub. And for maximum reliability, you have a mesh network, where basically every device is connected to every other device. Students are going to learn the pros and cons of each and, more importantly, when to use which one. But building stuff is only half the battle. What happens when things go wrong? And trust me, they always do. So a huge part of this is learning how to fix things when they break. We teach a really structured, professional approach to troubleshooting. It's this 5-step process. Identify the problem, come up with a theory, test it, plan your fix, and then verify and document everything. Honestly, this is a critical thinking skill that they'll use for the rest of their lives, way beyond just networking. All right, so once we have that physical foundation down, what's next? Well, we've got to connect it to the rest of the world. This is where we start making those global connections work, moving from a small local network to the massive worldwide internet. And here's the key. To get on the internet, every single device, your phone, your laptop, your smart TV, needs its own unique address. Think of it just like a street address for your house. We call it an IP address. And your student is going to learn exactly how this huge global addressing system works, and even how to assign these digital street addresses themselves. And what's really important is that we're not just teaching them about the internet as it is today. They're going to master both IPv4, which is the current standard you see pretty much everywhere, and also IPv6. That's the next generation, designed for the trillions and trillions of new devices coming online. So we're really preparing them for what's next. And it's not just about addresses. They'll also get to master all these essential services that make the internet easy to use. Things like DNS, that's basically the internet's phone book, or DHCP, that's the magic that gives your phone an address when you connect to Wi-Fi. We'll also cover routing, which is like a GPS for your data, and firewalls, the digital security guards. They're going to learn how to set up and manage all of it. Okay, now we get to what is, without a doubt, one of the most critical parts of the whole course, securing our digital world. Because it's one thing to build a network, but it's another thing entirely to defend it. This is where students learn to become that first line of defense. This quote from our curriculum really nails it. Strong authentication is the first line of defense. It all starts with making sure only the right people can get in. So your student will learn all about what makes a strong password, how multi-factor authentication works, when you get that code on your phone, and all the systems that make sure someone is who they say they are. And then, of course, they'll learn to identify and defend against the actual threats that are out there. We're talking about everything from malware and spoofing attacks to things like social engineering, which is that sneaky tactic of tricking people into giving away their information. Because you can't stop an attack if you don't understand how it works in the first place. And this stuff isn't just theory. These are skills they can use right away in their own lives. They'll have a much better idea of how to secure their home Wi-Fi network, how to protect their own phones and computers, and how to stay safe in this growing world of Internet of Things devices. All the smart gadgets we have around the house. So all of this work, all this building, managing, and protecting, it all leads somewhere really important. This brings us to the path to certification. This course isn't just about learning stuff for a test. It's about turning that knowledge into a real, tangible career advantage. The big goal here is to prepare students to take and pass the CompTIA Network Plus exam. Now, this isn't just another final exam for the class. This is a globally recognized industry standard certification. It's proof to colleges, to employers, that your student doesn't just know this stuff, they can do it. They have a validated practical skill set. And I really want to emphasize this. Getting this one certification can be an absolute game changer. It's a credential that tells the world, hey, I've got what it takes. It opens doors to internships. It gives them a serious edge on college applications, and it can even lead directly to high-demand jobs. It's just a massive head start. Okay, just before we wrap up, a couple of quick logistical things. All of our course materials, including the really cool virtual labs, are on the official CompTIA Learning platform. You'll be able to keep track of grades and assignments through Schoology. And here's a really important one. Please make sure you filled out the Digital Tools Parental Consent form. We need that so your student can access all these amazing online tools. Because that's really what this journey is all about. This year, they're going to transform from just being a user of technology to being someone who truly understands it, who can build it, and who knows how to protect it. Thank you so much for being our partners in this. I am so incredibly excited for the year ahead, and I can't wait to see what your students will accomplish.